You had such success, and then it all seemed to come to a rather grisly end, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it's...
First of all, you split with your manager.
Yes, we had a litigation, and then obviously we had the band scenario. I think what it was we spent a lot of time in Asia touring, all the rest of it, and unfortunately, obviously, both the other lads kind of came to an end, and they just wanted to kind of end it. I didn't. I was a bit gutted, I'll be honest.
Can you remember that moment when they said to you, we want to stop? And
you know what the worst thing was? They said, oh, by the way, we don't want to announce it. Can you do it? So we went on to Chris Moyle's breakfast show at the time, and it was like, I had a lump in my throat thinking, I've got to tell them that this is all over when I think there's so much time. But to be fair, I mean, we had such a 5 years of just hard work, on the road, constantly in countries where we were touring. I know it's very glamorous, look from the outside looking in. And we had a fabulous time. But it was hard, and that's when everybody takes it very differently. For me, I woke up the next morning not having a scheduled sheet under my door saying, what you're doing for the day, and I couldn't handle it. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I'm sure there's probably plenty of opportunity for me to do, but I just woke up and
felt like the structure had
it was
gone.
like...
So is that when you kind of went into a bit of a
I started kind of just drinking heavily, and I got to the point with the drinking where it's really bad, where I didn't feel drunk anymore.
Yeah.
So I was kind of looking for that next buzz, which was, for me, at the time, was kind of, cocaine and the depression sets in because you're thinking, not only you can occasionally see yourself and you're thinking, you're not looking good, what am I going to do with myself? And that's when the depression...
How old were you then?
Well, that would have been, 5 years in, probably 27, depending on the stage name, obviously, and the stage age. 27, 28.
And you felt really lonely, I expect, because you'd had your mates in the band with you for all those years.
Yeah, that was the hard thing as well, because we kind of lost contact for probably the 2 years, probably because I kind of made that bitterness move where I thought, well, I don't want to...
Are you in touch now?
Yeah. I mean, we did the big reunion. We're all back together doing tours.
But you're doing a solo project, and they're not, are they? Are they?
No, the solo thing for me was basically the last probably, I'd say, 3 or 4 years I've been writing for other artists. So what actually happens when you go into the studio and you write plenty of songs, I would always get the odd song and I'd kind of look at it and go, it's not quite right for who we're writing for, but maybe I'll just keep that to the side. And we've been doing this for about 1.5 years, and I got to the point where I just thought, maybe I should just kind of do this project of my own, where I just do these songs we've been writing for, and I'll push it forward and kind of do my own thing, as well as doing the 911's stuff. We're still touring as the band.
Yeah.
But
when times were hard for you as well, though, Jimmy, like, did you lean on the other boys of the band, or did you kind of take it all on your own?
Not really. I'm a typical bloke. We don't have emotions, and we kind of don't open up to especially to other men. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you just kind of go into yourself and not really find anybody. Your family members always want to kind of ring up, how are you doing, bro? But you always want to have that pride thing. You don't want to
You pretend it's okay.
You don't want them to know that you're going through a bad time. I'm fine, I can handle it.
So did you get... Sorry.
I was just going to say, so how did you turn it around? Because you said I'm a typical bloke, I keep it to myself. Prince Harry's obviously been in the press recently, opening up, talking about difficulties that he's faced and how important it is to talk. Is this something that you eventually did with your friends, or what was that first step that you made?
For me, the step was again songwriting, because people always say to you, when you're going through stuff, is write it down.
Yeah.
And as much as I was kind of writing down in song form, they obviously weren't very good songs, because all I was writing was probably just stuff that was going around in my head, and it didn't make any sense. So that was what kind of got me through it, and slowly letting people into your life, because you were kind of, I kind of went and saw a couple of people at I wouldn't say it was deep therapy, but kind of had a conversation with people, and I found that the songwriting for me was the big...
And your wife helped as well, didn't she?
Yeah, obviously my wife kind of, bless her, puts up with me, and she's kind of that whole cliche thing where she's kind of the rock, where everything she does in her life, she thinks about. I guess it's like all women. You're all multi-talented and you all do things, whereas men, we just go, well, do you know what, I'll just do that and I'll think about the consequences after.
Yeah.
And, it helps that she's like a life editing coach. So she has clients that she dissects and...
But you'd been out with her early on in your career, and then you split up.
How did you know that?
Because I'm brainy.
No, yes, you're right, sorry. Yeah, she used to work for Boyzone.
Yeah. So you met her early on, you went out?
Yeah, we went out for probably about 6 months, and to be honest, because it was the start of 911, she knew what I was like. I'm a northerner, and we had this whole admiration of all these people following you and stuff. And
You
she
had to get things out of your
yes,
system.
yeah, I was trying to think of the words how to put it for you.
You slept with a load of girls.
I did, yes. But we kind of move on from. But yeah, she just went, you know what, this is you've got to go and do what you got to do. And then just by chance, this was probably 5, 6 years after the band had split up. Randomly, doing a gig in a club, and she was there. And the first thing I did when I saw her was go back into the changing room and say to the 2 guys from the band, "Do you remember Claire? She's got, I'm going to end up marrying her." And I hadn't even spoken to her then since. And then, years later, she's my wife and kids. And there she is over there.